What's up, y'all? I go with FLOWTOX. Out here running on the southwest side of Chicagoland. We be inside the 294. Between the I-55 and the 290. That southwest quadrant. Whatever. I just moved here. I'm not a Southsider. Not yet. I've been on the north side of Chicago for about 15 years. And it took me a while to realize about north side of Chicago that it's the most transient side of the city. People not from Chicago, when they move to Chicago, they move to the north side almost nearly always, unless they're going to university on the south side, UIC, IIT, U of C, Columbia, all that shit, or downtown. They're going to school at SCIC, the Institute of Art. But even then, those are college kids. They'll come in, they'll do their 4 years, they might stay. They usually go. A lot of white people move to Chicago to start their careers. They'll go to the north side. And, you know, I feel like people on the north side are always in and out. In and out, in and out. I don't know, it's hard to connect. The south side has deep roots. Lots of families with deep roots down here on the south side. Been here for a long time. And they take a lot of pride in it. I think it's pretty awesome. And I'm looking to get to know the south side more and more. Guess that makes me a de facto White Sox fan, but I'm not paying attention. If anything, I'll root for the Diamondbacks. But like I said, I'm not paying attention. First time I came to Chicago, I had a friend, Ellen, who was from Chicago. I met her in Flagstaff, Arizona. And we were going to university together at NAU. And I dropped out. And I was just sort of putzing around. And she dropped out. And she moved back to Chicago. And she was Southsider. She was from Beverly. Old school Irish. Beverly, I think her dad was a cop or something. Of course. So, back in 2007, I flew to Chicago from Arizona. My brother was living here at the time, going to the Art Institute, living across from the Chicago Theater, next to the Gene Siskel. So I was like, fuck it. My brother's out there. I got my friend Ellen out there. I had a few other friends. So me and my buddy Parker Davis and his girlfriend Melissa Quersha. And Melissa was visiting her brother too, who lived here. Anyways, lots of connections. So Parker, Melissa, and I, we all flew to Chicago. And actually I flew in the night before. And my friend Ellen picked me up from Midway. And she took me down to like 115th and Western. And she's living with her cousin. And her cousin was a pillhead. And Ellen was, you know, at the time, you know, going through some substance abuse issues as well. Probably wasn't great for her to be living with her cousin at that time, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, I spent the night at Ellen's cousin's house down at 115th and Western that night. And all night, I was waking up, coughing, I was having an asthma attack. Like her cousin was smoking cigarettes in the front room and Ellen and I were in the bedroom. I kept waking up coughing and coughing and coughing. And we woke up the next morning and Ellen's cousin's like, yeah, I almost burnt the apartment down last night. I passed out with the cigarette in my hand while I was on the air mattress, and the air mattress caught on fire. I was like, God damn, no wonder I was fucking choking to death last night, breathing, having an asthma attack. And that next morning I was here was St. Paddy's Day. Southside St. Paddy's Day parade down in Beverly. It was like perfect timing. So we got up at like 6 o'clock that morning and went over to Ellen's friend's house. This beautiful fucking estate in Beverly, huge ass house. And they were all doing Molly off the countertops, and we popped beers open, and it was like 6:30 in the morning. It was like, all right, let's go. Packed our bags full of beer, marijuana, and I had my, St. Paddy's Day, had to wear green. So the only green thing I had was my sweater from high school. Went to a Catholic high school in Phoenix, and it was a green sweater, so I wore my sweater, my St. Mary's High School sweater. And we arrived, showed up at the Southside parade. I think it had begun already, I have no fucking idea. And within 5 minutes of me being there, I hear someone calling out my name. Ian! Ian! I'm like, the fuck? It's Irish parade. Probably tons of motherfuckers named Ian around here. And then, in seconds, from behind me, some dude grabs my shoulder and he's like, Ian! I look around, it's this motherfucker from my high school. Right here, Southside of Chicago. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, it's Southside parade. His family was Southside, Chicago, Irish. His uncle was the fucking dean at my high school, busted me for pot at high school. His uncle was a motherfucker. Became a cop in Phoenix, I believe. And this John Keating, this dude that I saw from high school, he became a fucking Marine, drunk veteran, and knocked up some chick from high school, and he wanted to hang out a bunch after that, after we saw each other in Chicago. I was like, oh man, nah. But it was crazy. That was within my first 24 hours, my first 12 hours in Chicago. Almost died in the apartment fire. Went to the Southside Irish parade. Started drinking at like 6. Saw some motherfucker from high school. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, Southside is a party. But, after that, I fell in love with Chicago. And I moved to Chicago about a year after that. Almost to the day. Started working in recording studios. All that shit, but that's all for a different story. But yeah, lived in Uptown, lived in Edgewater, lived in Irving Park, now down here in Berwyn. Anyways, peace out, much love. Stories from Chicago, FLOWTOX.